at their arsenal, and that comes with it. So what are our let's focus on the prize, and the prize more the liberation of the Gambia people.
Waa Barrow must go lan lañ ñun naka Yaya Jammeh moo tax ñuy wax Adama Barrow mu dem like stupid stuff.
No,
Something
let me
something
tell
like
you,
mënuma fàttali ko sa bébé code affaire bi because that's how stupid it is.
no, wahi caaxaan nañ laa rek. So they would dañ ci boole first of yéen moom moo gën a jege Yaya Jammeh ni yéen. And I remember ba moo dem kër Yaya Jammeh ne mu ngi naka visiti kër Yaya Jammeh. It was the anniversary of day Sigol Nyasi. And the reason why I bring that up, but Sigul Nyasi the day fee in 2013.
Mama, send a request.
Day before you knew def Operation Borbor. Momo kile andon Adama Barrow nyo andon fini. We didn't know Adama Barrow then. Adama Barrow momo escort body Sigul Nyasi back to the Gambia. Sigul Nyasi luko Jammeh arrest ak luñ ko tocho lolo ko mu jeeray. So anniversary deja. Yeah, Jammeh. So jege di am momo gonna jege guy. Why, like I was saying this just to wrap up. It's not going to be easy. You guys are doing a great job. You are reaching more people than you'll ever think. And believe me, people are seeing
because amuñ plan mu ne amuñ the meat to the bone oncle Musa xam nga moo tax ñu bëggoon a ñëw keroog seen show bi crash seen show bi ooyoon naa ñoom neene ba neene wax ma ne ma nañ dem waaye xaw ma sondee la na jotoon bañ busy ma fàtte dañ bëggoon a ñëw crash seen show bi da ngeen doon toog rek gis ñu rek ñun ñëpp ñu ñëw nag say si seen kaw keroog.
No, that's good. I'm not most ñoo ko gis no dafa mën a provoque moo tax du laan juboo banka moo tax daf laan merlooy banka time is struggle ba bugg a dee. You know, he likes to provoke. Why, you know, you guys are doing great. Niti Kala, Magedla.
Sorry, Coach Balangay dem dama am some questions like about Sidi Njie. Lu ma bëggal laajte moo nekk
laajte wante gaay ma du mooy si biir nag moom gaay ma bàyyi si biir maa ngi la bëggoon a laaj som dara pour Sidi Njie
nga xam problème bu mag moo am maana os problème bu mag moo am Gambia may ñu rek
maana mayal Mamad mu pare su pare yow
problème moo am
Coach lu ma la bëggoon a laaj moo nekk Sidi Njie appointment am bi ndax MP yi mënoon nañ koo challenge from the onset pour ñu revoke lifinam bi ak su nekkee ne ñoom they cannot do it naka lañ waroon a def ba Sidi Njie duñ ko allow pour mu nekk deputy speaker. First question bi after ma laaj another question about the IEC chairman.
Well, there is nothing that could have been done. And this is more the initial draft, the 2020 draft, the Guinea won this nomination of candidates. It's a silly thing. It has outlived its purpose because the reason for that boy, so Hamon Gambia time, you have on the protectorate and then you have the city. So the new protectorate, representation. So Lubun guy, I mean this nomination thing that was to give representation to and mostly chiefs like Island appoint in parliament. While and it turns to politics. But the thing is to nominate it, to president be nominated 5 people. Munda guy Munda designate any one of those 5 people, Pumoneka the speaker, and then they can vote for anybody else, Pumoneka the deputy speaker. So if they have the majority, it would pass. So there is nothing that anybody could have done.
Oh, that's good.
But don't you think that Coach, don't you think that Nasa will happen when soon you're on the street, at least they not bring a little bit of you make a noise, then don't you think that lots another tension, yeah. Poor guys retrieve the nomination.
Well, I'm going to I'm consents because 2 things could have happened. Moi so le fatale ko case Yakumba Jaitebi made it impossible now. Because once Sidi Njie is sworn in as a member, Ken Monotuta Guinea membership unless he was impeached or something else happened. And for that to happen, that would require all NPP supporters for New Bokati and all that stuff.
Exactly.
So Luma Areg Moine, Liep is the reason why when we go to elections, let's elect people looking at the long term and not elect people because of age, buñ la daasal or 2 age or 5 age. And that's the problem. Sani Mate lañ lay am, ñu ngi am Guri Mate fu mu nekk, they do whatever they want, and these are the consequences of it. It was very avoidable because there was no need for them appoint a CDJ deputy speaker. It's a joke. You know, the whole man su ma nekkoon si National Assembly, I would never require address Siri Jai ak Fabakary Tombong Jatta as honorable. Man, in fact,
I
honorable
know.
sa la
It's my day meeting. When
know.
they say honorable speaker, man, it's like
I will not. Mr. Speaker, Soko Amesa, that's the best you get.
exactly
Yeah, it's just a
honorable.
joke.
No, and you
But
know the only person that don't call them honorable is Tumanjai.
They are not honorable people.
My next question be about the IEC. Because mom mu ngi nekk foofu noonu so-called illegally because contract bi is not valid. Ndax loolu, what does it say about our election results in 2021? Ndax loolu does not matter.
Could have 2020. Could have been challenged in court because man Manglon had somebody. I was talking to somebody and Manglon was ne you maybe go to the courts to get nakalatura. That was when the opposition were going to be proactive and go to the courts. Because at the end of the day, the reason why we have the courts was so that they can interpret the constitution for us. So this is why we go to the Supreme Court so that they will make a proper interpretation of a provision. So, man, I believe definitely, based on my calculation, Muntona oversee the 2021 elections, Muntona oversee the 2022 National Assembly elections. Because when your term is expired, you cannot be the returning officer of the elections was occupying that position illegally. But again, the opposition, pull ñu waat si 2021 elections si xam nga lii yëpp moo la wax rek ñun wiitoon coolee bari rek. Look at even this dañ sàkke elections si. When they did the registration of voters, guy ne fu mu nekk ni they're going to have the revising courts which were established. And it's not a Gambian. And then what that court would do more to look into that matter. So if you have the evidence mom nekkul Gambian, then that person will be stricken off the voter roll. And that's what it is. While opposition be acted as if nothing happened. Actually, guy don't show up, they vote like a register illegal aliens and all this stuff. They said that. Ñoom ñoo ko la wax during the registration. When the opportunity came to go to the courts, the revising courts that were set up all around the country, can you believe that not one single objection was been a single objection was
during
raised?
the court?
Yes. Ben kenn taxawut foofu ne kii liñ ko appoint liñ ko li fi register dafa wrong. Te ñoom ñoo la wax ne they have that evidence before it.
Parce que time boobu noonu ñu bari dañ fogoon ne dinañ doon winning. That is true.
And that's the problem. So nga dem léegi ñu win la, and then you want to start talking about it's not fair. And this is why, man, I wasn't listening to it. I'm like, listen, we've been deserve the integrity of that institution. But again, you don't want to act. No. Elections in the Gambia are never stolen on election day. Man nekk na buma nekk polling agent 1992, and the same voting system of nekk. It's almost absolutely impossible pour nga sàcc election si on election day si bopa. Unless you're a polling agency, nekk ñu nasa. Yep, sa registration of voter cell.
So the registrations, remember the voters card that they burned, right? So people are still saying that those cards are still in the system.
No, they cannot be. Because
Can you elaborate on that? Because
yeah,
nga seetaan ñu foofu noonu because people always
no,
say that.
no, lule help boy. Before every elections, then they voter general registration of voters. And when they do that, boy, all the previous voter listing would expire. So it's a new voter roll. Do they carry over from one election to the next like
Wait, so
that?
all the other registration expire? Is that what you're
Gis
saying?
nga time jame. You register
Wow.
one time jame yep.
Wow.
See
Wow.
2016 elections. You cannot go
Wow.
to you cannot go with those voters cards. Bepare vote that day. Bepare here is what needs to happen. And we
No,
have to
hara
be
seetalal ñu foofu coach
wow.
because yaa ñu gën a xam fii. Okay, so ngane luñ register one for, let's say somebody, if they registered to go and vote 2016.
Pull change your old card be or register new.
And how
But
often do they do this?
I think they do that every 5 years or so. Something 1992, and it's the same system. Maa ngi tudd Fatoumata Cissé maa ngi dëkk Bundung ñun ñëpp ñu ngi amee suñ voter registration noonu la war a demee damaa open voters card mu ngi nii card number mu ngi nii ma check verify ne yow you are on the list. So what they used to do man time maa nekk polling agent mooy ne to avoid commotion su fekkee ne lifin yi per yi ñu ngi nekk like blackish also dañ naan am yellow mooy invalid votes. So what they would do mooy and ñun ñëpp will be within eyesight ngeen gis luy happen su fekkee ne ñun realize nañ ne key is not on the voter roll, they're not going to give you the real one. They would give you bu yellow bi because that vote
naa gis lot tab bi léegi mu egg 100 am nañ 100,000
100 egg na ko
100,000
kay
tabs.
problème am na de problème am na de ñu mana us problème am na Gambie problème bu rëy.
bu leen wax dara maa ngi si biir leel bi bu leen di leen alaat maa ngi bëgg a laaj waa problème am na maa ngi bëgg a laaj Pa Samba Jow pour mu dimbale ñu pour naka la ñoo discount counter these people.
Mana mema quickly di nga ñëw balaa coach di dem léegi lu ma bëgg a xam maana kii coach mooy so ñu ngi doon wax affaire registration bi so when is the next registration is it 2025 dañ war a def a new registration so does that mean ne képp ku register woon before da nga war a delluwaat nga register waat pour nga mun a vote in 2026.
That should be the case. For now, voters, this is good for about 10 years or so. Why they have supplementary registration? I don't have the constitution right in front of me.
Bambas, mungi don wax ne 10 years. Bambas, is that the general registration?
Every 10 years, yeah. So like 2021 general election bi ku fa am voters card te yang ko amé still bobu nga use in 2026. So 2031 lañu waaw ga dañu am supplementary mo nek ñu xamantene sen bo ci dafa réel waaw ñu xamantene sen bo dafa réel wala amuñ joon ñooñu dinañ mëna register waat waaye so ko am with a valid one 2026 mën na vote ak bobu non.
Yeah, so thank you very much for Bambas. So because what happens though, boy, when they do the new registration, then they would do the compilation and they would publish the voter roll. And but they need to be able to clean up the voter roll. Let's say if I can code you register on 2021, code then about 2026, that should be out of the system. We have to find a better way of making it. Why haven't you do your register there? So these are some of the issues that we have. But again, all these problems can be solved if you have a very proactive opposition. But the issue being am si mbiri voter elections. Suñ doosi xam nga gaa ngi am this attestation li nga xam ne ni lifin bi daf ko génne woon sax the draft ñoom baroo dugalaat ko because attestation si mooy ne man maay alkalit fii diw sangam suma kanam la judu so Gambian la but that's not how you become a Gambian. So lu lay happen mooy most people in the Gambia including alkalos do not even know the constitutional requirement for being a Gambian. Why ñu ngi attest nit pour mu nekk a Gambian by virtue of ne Gambia la judo. Because judo Gambian does not make you a Gambian. One of your parents or your or both or a grandparent ñoo war a nekk a Gambian judo Gambian nekk Gambian nga mun a nekk Gambian. So mii ne man su ma demee tey maa ngi move Gambia maa ngi jógee Guinée Conakry man maa suma jabar ñun ñëpp jur fa doom tuddee ko Souleymane mun naa nekk si dëkk bi unless Souleymane naturalized. Souleymane is not a Gambian. And this is where the problem is. So there are so many people ñi have been in that country for 20, 30 years. Ñu fa dem school, ñu ngi def everything, but they are not Gambians because of their parents were not Gambians. Because we don't have the child birth, citizenship by birth, right?
Yeah,
like just
America.
No. Wow, it's different. Ours is different. Ours one or two parents. Or your you must be a descendant of somebody who is a citizen.
Wow. Waaye léegi coach jamono buñ toll ni xam naa nag ñu laa sonal nag.
No, it's all good.
So jamono buñ nekk nii jamono quickly rek ma laajte bi Mamat jamono buñ nekk nii gars yi nekkuñ di am ID card kenn mënta am ID card foofu noonu supposedly. Yeah, why new registration mu ngi war a ñëw am si in 2025 te foog naa balaa nga mun a register warul da nga foog naa da nga war a am ID card no léegi so
because you have to have proof of citizenship and this is where the problem is. But again soo ko amul sax yow mun ngaa dem and then kii mun naa attest ne yow citizen nga the attestation because as soon as dem nga and then you fill form bi ne yow you are a citizen.
Wow, why hanga fi ma doon waxee foofu mooy the crunch time bi nga xam ne moo war a jot right before gars yi ñu let's say next year su fekkee ne xale yi amuñ chance pour am seen ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi 17 18 right now ñi nga xam ne war nañoo dem uti ji seen ID card yi ak yooyu léegi next year gars yi war a dem ut ID card ba pare ñu on top of that ñu war a dem register pour vote all of that together te loolu yëpp foog naa daf dee cost money or is it registration free or
No,
is not?
registration. You cannot pay. You should not pay for registration.
But
Look
the
at
ID is for, they have to pay for the ID, correct?
Yes, you pay for the ID. Registration, look at that. There was a time, I think they still do it. So if I can lose supporters card, pull a replacement card, I think there was a fee. Gambia have a change. And I'm all opposition. And I remember even ID, I'm on a time, $5 sila one. This was around 93. I remember, so I'm kumagis.
Why coach sorry aluma buga like te be legui de because man mbalama because I'm not lo explain fufu why suma mind is still stuck on li ma buga like te the fact ne guy defaruñ suñ figuratuñ suñ ID card issue bi a whole nation amuñ ID cards legui next year nit dañ wara register pour vote before nga register pour vote most likely it would be easier if you just have your ID card right te amna xalé yu bari yo xamné dinañ wara register next year pour ñu vote because between 2020 kañ la 2021 ba légui ñu amone 14 yep they will be eligible to vote so légui su fekkee ne dang leen bay ba next year nga ne leen légui dem leen ngeen uti sen voters card yi dem leen ngeen ut ID ba pare ngeen dem register don't you think that this is something that the government is doing by design or maybe it's just happening but lu nit ñi wara bay xel la sétat ko
I don't think that they're doing it by design because they cannot guarantee or there are people a voters card. But again, what they're going to do will go through the back door and then have this living form, feel ko attestation forms
and those people will get there.
Yeah. So this is why again, Lumahrek is get election pour win ko, pour fight ko. Do harbe election jot ga fight ko. These are issues the opposition should be out there talking about, fighting about, at least to make sure at least linga hamne momo war hapunda. Dañoo toogati be affaire jot. And then ku nekk nag pare oote press conference or binda a press statement di condemn luy happen. Because what is more sad than a country boo xam ne nii yow nga juddoo fa your ID sa mun loo ko fa you cannot have an ID mun loo am pass. And we call ourselves a serious country. And the lack of seriousness is not only the government, but those nigga should hold the government to account. Because the absence of that is the reason why we are in the mess that we are in.
Yeah.
Man luma buga listen fofu non rek juka mo nekk ne foog na argument ñu bari about that 300,000 Jammeh vote ñoom lu ñu wax moo nekk ne nekku ne exactly that voters card lañ isi waat waaye nu ko Jammeh defee noonu la ko NPP defee tam put ko in the system foog na argument boobu la ñu bari day raise.
Well, xam nga loolu tam su fekkee ne loolu moo happen tam moo la wax ne suñ nasaxaay lifin bi rek you have to because ñun dañ tayal li nga def mooy whatever the voter roll is Gambia bariwut ñu ne ñaata 8,000 la gaa wax ne ñu ne ñoo register war xama 1 point xama ñaata million or whatever it is. Let's say a party like the UDP. You have your diaspora wing, you have all these people. Hey, do the pages. Then you know what? Hey, the am study session from Nekani. I want you to review these pages. Can you review these pages? Let's compile these pages, see whether it makes sense or make sense. Let it add up. But again, let's remember how we vote. You have to prove that your voter's card is valid. Pulga vote. So process yep, gis checks is yep to start.
Usman mana us ñëwal nga nga bëgg laaj coach bala ñu
mana us ngeen nelaw
mana us problème moo am Gambia problème bu mag moom lu rek la deew su ñëwee xaar leen problème bu mag moo am Gambia
Assalamualaikum. Jërëjëf coach Wow,
jërëjëf si waa
Bangladesh,
ji.
juga ya, degada. Wow, coach, wow, very. No, nelawa coach, sawajila
Coach
citizen,
problème bi am
citizen
Gambia
of
ñu
the
ngi laa
world.
déglu
Problem bu mag mo am. You know,
problème
waaw
freedom Gambia, freedom for the world. Yeah, gars yi bu ñu wax dara.
oh
Yëppay
yes
leer. Asalaamaaleykum.
jërëjëf.
Because I mean, naka la ñoo counter Sidi Njie mii nii. Because xam nga si sa yeah moo nekk loolu waa si problème boobu laa koo laaj nii because ñii naka lañ dañaa counter yee xam nga because su fekkee ne yaa ngee laajte fu mu nekk nii opposition bi ñoom ñoom nga gën a jox bileem bi si what is happening in the Gambia su fekkee ne tamit opposition bi ñoom amuñ idea pour solve this problem going on in the Gambia because dafa sad trop since this government come a simple constitution mënuñ koo am Gambia no loi dëkk bu nga xam ne amul loi dafa mel ni comme bëggi réew bi respectut ko moom dafay toog mu change du ko nee so léegi ndax human right activities yi ndax mënuñoo def pétition pour jéem a counter lu gars yi di Sidi Njie lu mu dee jéem a counter lu mu dee def nii yëpp activities yi comme pour ñu mun a gis EU ñu fa ñëw noonu ñoom ñu def job boobu noonu pour Gambie mun a génn si problème yi mu nekk nii man foofu laa la doon laajee daal.
xam nga leena moo
si
non yaa ngi fine citizen xam nga the thing is let's look at Sidi Njie does not have any credibility whatsoever. Sidi Njie cannot convince anybody in the world about anything. Believe me, bul dega chawli. And guess what happened? Gis nga EU. Ninga ye mone Sidi Njie mone ka deputy speaker. Chansa non laga ye mone Sidi Njie mone ka deputy speaker. Guess what? Because by jame wahene do them. Nyom Sidi Njie nyona talk si meeting ye jame. Plus EU be them and fufu. All these other institutions. Now, pull counter Sidi Njie is not difficult. All we have to stick to more the facts. And what are the facts? We could not have electoral reform. Yinga hamne momla yorna am. Bepare, let's also remember linga hamne momla. Gisona been a video who guy circulated recently of Barrow what he used to say about electoral reforms, what needed to happen. That's what you do. Sidi Njie is not the issue when it comes to this because Sidi Njie is a nobody. Altopela, Siboru Katla. Sidi Njie moy kinga hamne ni. Whatever you say, as long as mo get benefit, dina attach with the feature. Because he has no core beliefs. So Kokupul counter is easy. Let's look at what is happening in the government. Who is the most effective like a spokesperson of the government? Do Dr. Sise. We've been able to handle Dr. Sise very well. And not because of anything, but we stick to the facts. And that's the only thing Liga Hamne needs to continue to happen. But I will listen to what CD said. And I will respond to it. And that's all we have to do. The EU, they know what is going on. They're not stupid. Lingene Binda, Lingene Wahip, they read because of they're in the Gambia and they have a reason to be there. Let me give you one example. There have been a protest among this is 2005. Buñ arresté Halifa Oji ak Amadba. Ñu def benn protest. So ñu dem State Department. Lu interesting la ni de. So buñ demee State Department, so guy delegate ba pour ma dem deliver the letter. Madam, waji daal dama toog tubaab bu xonq cur door di ma laaka olof. So del dama almost 30 seconds pour suma brain bi doora accept ne kii definitely olof la ma laaka ni. And whenever boy one the deputy naka one of the undersecretaries of state for African affairs. After whatever Hamdani, you're confused. But I used to live in Senegal. I was part of the Peace Corps. So these are the people are dealing with our people. The mistake that Jammeh makes, boy, he thinks that when he speaks in the local languages, we do not understand what he says.
Yeah.
So most of these people know exactly what is happening in our country. They know who Sidi Njie is. And again, the reason why they came, they don't need to be counted because they met with Mahdi. They were going to meet with the opposition. And what they'll hear from those people will be totally different from what Sidi Njie told them. And they also know Whatever Sidija is telling them is a lie. It has not happened. And this is why you buy some sohla, you get Belgium, you get wherever. No, then you get like what falling to Chile. Because if you call the sorty one, they are not going to talk about that. So that's the thing. Again, the best way to deal with these people is just continue to stick to the facts, to continue to expose their lies. And the company sustain. It's not sustainable. Believe me. It's not.
Yeah. I think
Anyway,
pressure the pressure ñun ñëpp ñu continuer the pressure no to third time Barrow dafa am pour abal ñu warta taxaw sax ci election bi. I think that's the message lu ñu war a share ñun ñëpp as a collective.
yes. Definitely. Well, anyway, let's continue the job. Man, haramanyo violent fini. You know,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'll be following you guys and
Yeah, sorry, Juka.
Wow. Come la baba.
Sorry, wow. How many coach am na some minutes because I'm going to like a question, right?
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much, coach. Yangi wa fi lena lo xamantene dafa over interesting. Why lu demee affaire yi draft constitution bi comme like the Barrow draft actually comme ñu bàyyi ko mu dem committee waaye li nekk foofu argument bi because last time maa ngi doon déglu interview Alhaji S Dabo ak deputy majority leader bu NPP bi ok gars yi ñu ngi amoon waxtaan ak Kër Fatou.
Dama sol headphone doo génne sa headphone bi mu dégg la bu baax.
Wow.
Funny sound,
Yeah, let me do that.
Yeah, please, thank you.
Yéen a ma dégg léegi.
Wow.
So okay gars yi lu ñu doon wax foofu noonu moo nekk ne because gars yi dañu doon argue ne the deputy party how to call it the deputy majority leader bu NPP bi moom daf doon wax ne gars yi dañu war a UDP and others dañu war a bàyyi draft bi mu dem committee level léegi Alhaji S Dabo moom lan la argue foofu noonu moo nekk ne su demee committee because suñ demee committee lifin bi nu mu tuddaati gars yi nuñ dee débatee foofu wala nuñ dee voté foofu noonu it's just simple majority foofu la gars yi di base ñu def seen lifin bi seen report bi like the committee report ok so léegi foofu nag NPC ñoo leen ëpp foofu doole so dañ leen di overpower foofu si committee bi léegi fooguloo ne gars yi suñu demee si committee yi léegi NPP ñu overpower leen foofu noonu report bu génn foofu noonu dafa nekk report boo xamante ne NPP la mooy favor so in the sense that ne foofu lu NPP bugga wala lu favor NPP rek mooy nekk si report boobu you don't think so.
Nañ fàttali ko leena. Yes, what comes out of the committee may not pass. yaa ñoom ñoo opposé committee bi but soo ñëwee léegi pour vote ko as a bill in its totality the amendment you need 2/3. I think it's about 75% of the votes. NPP does not have that. So meaning the NPP would either have to compromise or will go to the whole committee of the whole house and they would lose. How about you see where I'm coming from? So this is the reality. Now, Citizenship committee, see, of course, ñoom ñoo ëppa. But again, look at the committee bill does not necessarily mean they mooy nekk the final bill because full bill we are talking about amending the constitution. We require at least 3/4 of the National Assembly should be in agreement. Full amendment will happen. Absent which is not going to happen. So Citizenship committee, simple majority. But the committee of the whole house, plenary bi, then you get vote. Then for Funak Sugaya, nope, since that's the end of it. So meaning that can also be another bargaining tool. For you understand. They listen. Yes, you can think that over. Why you unless you have our support, this is not going to pass. And think I have the follow opposition guy. You know what? The difference when at least you, unlike you, we gave this thing a chance to move them to the committee. Get definitely we reject it. John a chance. Yet you didn't even give her a chance. So what I believe we have to be able to strike a balance somehow where we'll come out with the most critical parts and put them there. That's where I'm coming from. And I believe let's just kill it right away. Let's. Man, in fact, I want to start engaging some National Assembly before that and just hear from them. Maybe they know more than I do. Why I believe it would be foolhardy to just reject it outright. But let's try to see whether we can strike a compromise. So if you guy put you insert clauses in those safeguards, we reject it, see whole house with and tell them, you know what, you can take it and shove it somewhere.
Yeah, especially the second and the no to third term pour time limit bi ak tam ñu include bu baro bi 10 years sim def boobu moom suñ ko mënee am you know maybe some of the other ones they can compromise then after ñu amend ko later waaye baro dafa am pour
language boobu should be that, you know, the term should be no more than 10 2 terms, whether served severally or jointly, because then you avoid. To me, my argument has been no president should be president for more than a term in Africa. Defal sa 5 years, so nekkee njuma sàcca li nga sàcca abal ñu suñ yoon ñu indi somebody else. There are so many. Virginia, you cannot be governor for more than 2 terms, and Virginia's budget is almost triple ñun suñ budget be, much more than that. There are some other countries so tegee fii so defee the research ñoo xam ne they have 1-term presidencies, and those countries are moving. Why do we need Barrow for 10 years? What has he done for us for Bulneka president for 10 years? Why did we need Jammeh for 10 years? What did he do for the country, Bulneka president for 10 years? They failed. So, to me, let's just go to 1 term, Gasafsa term, Guinea. So, if you were doing good, that's government is continuity. Somebody else from your party, soon be satisfied with your party, they would vote him in, carry on some program you learn. Why put talking Ben and it for 10 years? They have not done anything. We put a problem in you Indian technicalities of the law. The suma time be bokana bokut. 1 term nga ñibi. Demon man kamang kunda is a 14 bedroom nga xamne nga ne yanko bilon. Time nga nekolo president, even though it was non-existent, Ken Gisuko, it was in Ghost Town. Just stay for no guy and just leave us with our life. But anyway, guys, Haramanyo Biden. Thank you guys so very much. Let's keep the fire burning. You guys are doing great. Geraldine Jeff.
Thank you so much. We'll be here, inshallah, as usual. Jërëjëf waay, yal na la fi yàlla bàyyi waay ak sa xam-xam bu bari bi, masha Allah, tabaarkalla. Jërëjëf. Okay, so léegi ñun ñu ngi ñëw tëj si Moustapha ak Kinte ak Mamat soo lañ amee seen last word si then ñu tëj ba ëllëg inshallah ñu del si waat fi su neexee yàlla yéen mi fi nekk yëpp ñu ngi leen a wax welcome, thank you gis ne